All right, old school NBA fans, self-research, NBA facts. Got another video for you. As always, thanks to anybody who watches my videos, subscribes to my channel. I really appreciate it. In this video here, I'm going to touch on one I did a while back, but in a little bit different way. The 1996 NBA Finals MVP. I've heard people say that Dennis Rodman should have won the MVP. It's just ludicrous and silly, but let's get into it. I even had a clip of Sean Kemp saying that, oh, it was Dennis Rodman. He was the real problem. We were locking Jordan down. Okay. First off, let's take a look at the Chicago Bulls team. The top 7 players in minutes played. How did they fare? Luke Longley actually didn't have too bad of a series. He shot 57.4%. Of course, he's playing right around the basket. He had a big size advantage in this series. He was 27 for 47. He averaged 11.7 points per game. All right, great. That's actually a pretty good series for Longley. How about Tony Kukoc? He shot 42.3%, 30 for 71, averaged 13 points per game. About average. Michael Jordan shot 41.5. He was 51 for 123, 27.3 points per game. Obviously, he led the team in points per game, field goals, and field goal attempts. Ron Harper shot 37.5%. He was 12 for 32, 6.5 points per game. Scottie Pippen, 34.3% from the field, 34 for 99, 15.7 points per game. Definitely below his season average as well, or career average. Steve Kerr, some call the greatest shooter ever, 30.3% from the field, 10 for 33, giving you 5 points a game. And then Dennis Rodman, in some people's eyes, deserved the Finals MVP. 48.6%. He was 17 for 35, giving you 7.5 points per game. I don't even think there is a Finals MVP averaging under 15 points per game, but maybe I'm wrong about that. How about the three-point shooters of the Bulls? Now, I included Judd Buechler, Tony Kukoc, Michael Jordan, Ron Harper, Scottie Pippen, and Steve Kerr. They had the most attempts. Judd Buechler, normally a really good, reliable shooter. Well, he was 0% because he was 0 for 6. Tony Kukoc shot 31.3%, 10 for 32. Michael Jordan led the team in percentage among the starters for sure. 31.6%, 6 for 19. Ron Harper, 30.8%. That should be 4 for 13. I don't know why I carried down his general field goals there. But Scottie Pippen shot 23.1%. He was 9 for 39. Steve Kerr, 18.2%. He was 4 for 22 from 3. Michael Jordan drew all kinds of attention. They doubled him. These other players had all kinds of open looks. They just weren't hitting them. How about at the free throw line? Luke Longley, 72.7, 16 for 22. Tony Kukoc was 80%, 8 for 10. Michael Jordan, 83.6. I think that's his exact career average, 56 for 67. Ron Harper, 91.7. He was 11 for 12. Scottie Pippen, 70.8, 17 for 24. Steve Kerr, 85.7. He was 6 for 7. And Dennis Rodman shot 57.9 on 11 for 19 shooting. So as you can see, aside from Kerr, who only shot 7 free throws, and Ron Harper, who shot 12, Jordan was just shooting the free throw better than anybody on the team, other than those two guys. He shot the three-pointer better than anybody on this list. And aside from Longley and Rodman, whose whole game is right around the rim, only Kukoc was marginally better than Jordan from the field. And he took way more shots of all of it. So this is the crux of my argument. If you're going to argue game for game, series as a whole, Jordan definitely was better than Rodman. No doubt about it. But that's not even what I'm saying here. What I'm saying is MVP. Who was the most valuable player in that series? In game 1, Michael Jordan, 28.7 rebounds, 9 of 18 from the field, 9 for 10 from the line. That's a pretty good game. Not great for Jordan standards, but that's a pretty good game. Gary Payton and Hersey Hawkins and Vincent Askew combined 9 for 30, 27 points. So Jordan is by himself outscoring Seattle's backcourt, the two starters and the third guard coming in. How did Rodman do in game 1? He had 7 points, 13 rebounds, 3 for 6 from the field, 1 for 2 from the line. Sean Kemp, Detlef Schrempf, and Sam Perkins, they combined for 17 for 36, 59 points. It was obviously the front court of Seattle that was giving the Bulls problems, not the backcourt. Jordan was outscoring them by himself. And this is the point people try to make about Dennis Rodman, offensive rebounds. Let's take a look. In game 1, here's the offensive rebounds between both teams. Sean Kemp had 5. Scottie Pippen had 5. Sam Perkins had 4. Ron Harper had 3. Tony Kukoc had 3. And Dennis Rodman had 3. So he was tied for 4th with 2 other guys for the most offensive rebounds in game 1. Not convinced? All right, let's take a look at game 2. Now, Jordan didn't shoot quite as good, but he actually scored more points. 29 points, 8 assists, and 6 rebounds. 9 for 22 from the field, only 10 of 16 from the line. So he just didn't shoot good that game. Didn't have anything to do with the defense because you can just look at the free throws. 10 for 16, that's not good for Jordan at all. That's like 62.5%. But even still, again, Gary Payton, Hersey Hawkins, and Vincent Askew, the 3 main guards of Seattle, combined for 29 points. Jordan is matching the 3 of them. Now, Dennis Rodman had a really good game in game 2. He had 10 points, 20 rebounds. That's obviously great, but he had 0 assists, amounted to an immediate score for the Bulls. Now, maybe he threw it out to them, they passed it around, eventually led to a basket. I'm sure that's the case on some of these. But no immediate baskets from Rodman. He had no assists in this game. But once again, Sean Kemp, Detlef Schrempf, and Sam Perkins combined for 57 points. Those 3 were destroying the Bulls inside. And game 2 was a lot closer game than game 1 was. So whatever you think of Rodman's offensive rebounding, well, he wasn't getting it done on defense. I know people say, well, Longley was actually guarding Sean Kemp. Then what, Pippen was guarding Schrempf? Who was Rodman guarded? Perkins? That's dumb. Game 2, offensive rebounds. Dennis Rodman had 11 of them. Sean Kemp had 8 of them. Irvin Johnson, he came in and played 8 minutes and got 6 offensive rebounds. Scottie Pippen had 3. Is it possible that Seattle paid so much attention to Michael Jordan that Dennis Rodman just had free reign to do whatever he wanted? They weren't accounting for him because they didn't consider him an offensive threat. So they were playing off Rodman to double Jordan. So indirectly, you got to say that Jordan is the reason why Rodman was able to get offensive rebounds. But here's the game where Jordan sewed up the Finals MVP. I don't care what anyone says. In game 3, Ron Harper got hurt 1 minute into the game. So now you're out, your starting point guard. Steve Kerr, Randy Brown, they played extended minutes. But Michael Jordan won the championship for the Bulls because of this clinic right here.
I think that's a bad mistake.
Pippen is blocked, and then stripped. Burkowski, but with the strip, but threw it away. Now single coverage with Hawkins on Jordan, who goes right at him, and is fouled.
And then come out in the third and just really hammer down again. That seems to be Michael Jordan and the Bulls' approach today.
Clean, hard fouls, and we expect them. We got to be ready to take them.
Facing the double team. Here is Schrempf. Burkowski. And knocked out of bounds. And a foul call. Burkowski sitting down. Jordan now with 15 points. 7 NBA Final Series, Game 4. Back comes Kukoc. Again, it's Payton on Jordan. Sally, played by Kemp. Jordan, yes, nicely done on the setup from Kukoc.
To the challenge. A very competitive guy, even though a quiet personality. Harper out. He knows it's his day.
And Michael Jordan picking it up. He has 20 points. Time. Jordan being guarded guarded by Wingate. Shoots over him. Yes. Oh, Michael is on fire now. 23 for Jordan. Foul was called on Sally.
It wasn't too long ago we were saying Michael Jordan, maybe he's trying to do a little too much. Well, hey, he's doing it. Inside, outside, everywhere. As he is really feeling it right now like nobody can cover him.
When we were talking to him before the game today, you could just feel that intensity just
With the watch in his hand.
I wrote it in my diary.
that must live in the southern hemisphere.
Bulls with a 56-37 lead. Jordan.
Yes.
Michael Jordan.
He gets 16 points with some deflated balloons behind the basket.
Good wide receiver.
Well, they did miss a free throw.
Final seconds of the half. Biggest lead of the night. Enjoyed by Chicago. Bushler with the steal. A 24-point lead for the Bulls, who are seeking to go 3-up in this best of 7. Michael Jordan leading the way. 27 points, 15 in the second.
So they're up 24 points at the halftime. They're up 2-0. It's over. Unless Seattle somehow is going to come back on a 24-point deficit against the 96 Chicago Bulls, which we know that wasn't going to happen, then you have to ask yourself, how realistic is it to say Seattle could win 4 in a row against the Bulls, including games 6 and 7 in Chicago? If you believe it was possible, you're adult. But if you believe that, okay, then the Rodman MVP argument is valid. But if you don't believe that, then there is no case for Dennis Rodman for MVP, because the series was over right there when Jordan put the team on his back and locked up the series. It was over. Game 4 and 5 was irrelevant. Didn't matter. Seattle was not going to win 4 in a row. And I will get to the historical precedent on that in just a moment. In Game 3, you already heard, Michael Jordan had 27 points in the first half, gave him that 24-point lead. It was over, done. David Stern might as well have walked out of halftime and did the trophy presentation to Jordan right there. It was done. Jordan had 36 points, 11 for 23 from the field, 11 for 11 from the line. Dennis Rodman had 5 points, 10 rebounds, 3 for 6 from the free throw line. Really? We're even debating this? The first 3 games, Jordan was much better than Dennis Rodman. He had to do it with Ron Harper out also. Seattle played 2 nice games at home, playing for pride, whatever you want to call it. That was great. But Jordan only had 1 bad game of the 2. Jordan was actually pretty good in one of the games, the other one not so good. But even still, okay, the Bulls are up 3-2. They got to win 1 home game of the next 2. They were 39-2 at home. They won 2 games in the first round, 2 games in the semifinals, and 2 games in the Eastern Conference Finals. And they had just beaten Seattle 2 at home. Add that up. That's 8 plus 39. That's 47-2 at home. The best home team ever is Boston at 50-1. Now, if the Bulls win Game 6, they're 48-2. That's pretty close to Boston being 50-1. Meaning you aren't going to beat the Bulls at home. Game 6, Michael Jordan did not shoot the ball well at all. From the field, 22 points, an abysmal 5 for 19, no doubt about it. However, his overall game was not terrible. He had 9 rebounds, 7 assists, and he shot 11 for 12 from the line. Gary Payton and Hersey Hawkins combined for 23 points, just 1 more than what Jordan got. Game 6, Rodman had another one of those big rebound games. He had 9 points. He was 4 for 9 from the field, 19 rebounds, 5 assists, 1 for 3 from the line. Sean Kemp and Detlef Schrempf combined for 41 points, however. Seattle's entire team scored 75. These 2 are giving you more than half. Game 6, offensive rebounds. Get this. Rodman had 11. That's true. I think that's still an NBA record. I know it was Zydrunas Ilgauskas against the Spurs. I think it was in Game 3 of the 2007 finals. Had 10. Rodman had 11. That's great. But Chicago as a team had 24. Meaning The rest of the Bulls had 13. Seattle had 12. So they were out offensive rebounding Seattle without Rodman. So it just begs the question, maybe Seattle was just paying too much attention to Michael Jordan and not enough to guys going in and get offensive rebounds. I think that's absolutely the case in Game 6. They just said, oh, we're not going to let Jordan beat us. Okay, fine. Then all the offensive rebounds, the Bulls snatched 2/3 of them. It's just a ludicrous position. Without Michael Jordan getting you 27.3 points per game, where are the points going to come from? Pippen's getting you 15. Kukoc is getting you 13. Longley's getting you, 11.7. Who's going to score? Somebody's got to score for this team. Jordan was irreplaceable. The true meaning of the word valuable was Michael Jordan 1996. Sure, Dennis Rodman played an instrumental role, no doubt. But come on, his offense, his defense, no way did Rodman have a better all-around series than Jordan did. But for me, it was wrapped up in Game 3. It was over. And if you want to know how over it was, take a look at this. In the history of the NBA Finals, here's the teams that were up 3-0. 1947 Philadelphia Warriors. They were up 3-0 on the Chicago Stags. They won 4-1. The 49 Minneapolis Lakers behind George Mikan. They were up 3-0 on the Washington Capitals. They won 4-2. 1951, Rochester was up 3-0 on the Knicks. The Knicks actually did win 3 in a row and forced a Game 7, but Rochester beat them. 1959 Boston, they were up 3-0, sweep. 1971 Milwaukee, they were up 3-0 on Baltimore, sweep. 1975 Golden State, they were up 3-0 on Washington, sweep. 1983 Philadelphia 76ers, they were up 3-0 on the Lakers, sweep. 1989 Detroit Pistons, they were up 3-0 on the Lakers, sweep. 1995 Houston Rockets, they were up 3-0 on Orlando, sweep. 1996 Chicago Bulls, they were up 3-0, they won 4-2. 2002 Lakers, they were up 3-0 on the Nets, sweep. 2007 Spurs were up 3-0 on Cleveland, sweep. 2017 Golden State, they were up 3-0, they won 4-1. 2018 Golden State, they were up 3-0, sweep. 2024 Boston, they were up 3-0, they won 4-1. So in the history of the NBA Finals, 15 times a team was up 3-0. 9 times the team won 4-0. 3 times they won 4-1. Twice they won 4-2, and once 4-3. No times did a team come back from 0-3 in the finals to win. So like I said, unless you honestly thought Seattle was going to come back and win 4 straight games against the 96 Bulls, including games 6 and 7 in Chicago, then the series was over after Game 3. The rest of it didn't matter. They were so content on shutting Jordan down that they let Rodman run roughshod. To me, making Jordan even more valuable to elevate Rodman's offensive numbers. But if you want to give it to a guy who averaged 7.5 points per game, go right ahead. After Game 3, the clinic that Jordan put on, it was over. It was done. MVP all the way. No hesitation. Nobody even close to it. Now, some say Shawn Kemp maybe deserved it. No, he didn't. If Seattle would have won all 3 games in Seattle, say the Bulls win Game 6, and Seattle wins in Game 7 in Chicago, then Shawn Kemp should have been the MVP. But that didn't happen. They only won 2 games. And Kemp wasn't great in every game. He was horrible in Game 3. But even if you believe that, then that's proof right there that Rodman shouldn't have been it. Because his counterpart, the other power forward, outplayed Rodman. Ain't nobody going to say that either Hersey Hawkins or Gary Payton outplayed Jordan, because that's just not true at all. It's a really dumb narrative, and it had to have started by the LeBron crowd, the Nick Wright, Clutch Sports media, because nobody was saying that back in 1996. People might have said, like, man, Rodman sure was important to the Bulls or whatever, but Scottie Pippen was nowhere to be found. Where was Pippen? He was junk. He got outplayed by Detlef Schrempf in the series. Michael Jordan got no support offensively. Steve Kerr ghosted. He was nothing. Tony Kukoc did okay. Ron Harper okay. Longley wasn't bad. But where was Scottie Pippen at? You know, Kukoc didn't average 18 points a game no, 13 a game. That's what he got. Harper was getting you 6.5. Longley was getting you 11. I mean, come on. Those guys were getting clean looks. They just couldn't hit them. They were horrible. Steve Kerr was 4 for 22 from 3. What? Another stupid narrative with obviously one purpose in mind, to try to deflate Michael Jordan. That might not have been Jordan's best series, but he was constantly doubled and hounded pretty much that whole series. Even when allegedly Gary Payton was guarding him, I did a video on that one. It's my most watched video, and it shows you every shot that Michael Jordan took while being guarded by Gary Payton. He shot over 50%. Believe it or not, Hersey Hawkins did a better job against Michael Jordan. In Game 6 in the second half, it was all Hersey Hawkins. So anyway, that's all I got for this video. Thank you guys for watching. If you liked it, please hit the like button. If you wouldn't mind sharing it, that would be great. If you haven't subscribed already, please do. I give daily content, and that's it. Until next time.